the Nexus switch installation. I hope screen is visible.
Yes. Yes.
How to set the bootable image, because by default bootable image was not selected. Then CLI access of the Nexus switch. Basic CLI commands. Then we have discussed about difference between iOS and NXOS. NXOS, this is what we have also discussed. Then we have seen how to save the configuration. How to save the configuration here. Just a second guys, I'm getting how to save the configuration. This is what we have discussed. And I think one more thing we have discussed guys. Okay, no worries, we have the recordings. Now we have started exploring the Nexus switches, and we have seen that why do we need Nexus switches and where we're gonna use them. Nexus switches. So this is a product family guys. It's not just one Nexus switch. Like there's not just a single Nexus switch. We have a family, or you can say a product family of Nexus switches offered by Cisco. Offered by Cisco. So we have Nexus 9000, Nexus 7000 switches, 5000, 3000, 2000, right? So we have a lot of platforms. So I gave you a quick introduction on day one also related to it, but today we will be exploring them in detail and where we use them. We'll also discuss this. So Nexus family, first we have Nexus 2000 series, Nexus 3000, Nexus 5000 series, Nexus 7000 and Nexus 9000. Like I said, today most of the time we are using Nexus 9000 series switches, and 9000 series is the product family. In 9000 also we have 9200, 9300, 9500. So we have families like this. Okay. So like I was saying yesterday, the Nexus 2000 series switches are also known as FAX, Fabric Extended, or you can say provides port extension closer to the servers. And most of the time the Nexus 2000 series switches are used as a extended of the fabric, and there is a parent switch servers without the full control plane. Without full control plane. You will say, okay, what do you mean? If I just give you a quick idea here, in the data center we have spine and leaf topology. Let's say this is my spine 1, this is my spine 2, and it's not just about the spine and leaf. In access, distribution and core also we can use this. So right now guys, don't focus on this architecture, just focus on the fabric extended, the Nexus 2000 series. So let's say I have a rack here. Inside this rack we have a lot of servers, and it's not possible for me to connect all of these servers directly to the leaf one due to the distance, as well as on the leaf we have very limited interfaces. So that's where we have this FAX or Nexus 2000 series came into the picture. So what I will do, I'll just add one 2000 series switch on this rack. All of the servers are connected to this, and this Nexus 2000 series is connected to the leaf one. So in this case, this switch is known as the parent switch. That's why I said server without full control plane, because on this Nexus 2000 series we can't make the configuration. The configuration will be done from this parent switch, and in the parent switch you can have the switches like 5K switch can act as a parent switch, 7K switch act as a parent switch, or 9K switch can also act as a parent switch. So they're not the main switches, they're just used to provide or to extend the fabric connectivity. That's why the Nexus 2000 series switches are also known as fabric extenders. Any challenge here? Hello?
No, sir.
Is this part clear?
No.
Okay. So they're just, you can remember them like number of interfaces are increased, but still the management is on the parent switch. Then we have Nexus 3000 series switches. They have their own control plane and they are not dependent on these parent switches, but they're designed for first of all, they are fixed switches. We have fixed switches and we have modular switches. So when I'll show you the Nexus 9000 series chassis, in that chassis you will see the number of interfaces can be increased. So they are fixed switches, but they have higher performance with very low latency. They gave us very high speed interfaces, guys. In Nexus 3000 series we have high speed interfaces. So if we go to the fixed switches, in the fixed switches explore Cisco 3000 series. Yeah, it's here. Explore Nexus 3000 series. In the Nexus 3000 series, you notice that we have 3600, 3500 interfaces, 3400, 3200 series, 3100 series, and 3100 virtual series. So if you notice that they are used for high frequency trading, big data environment, because they offer speed. You notice 1 gig to 100 gig, 1 gig to 40 gig. Even they can go from 1 gig to 400 gigabit Ethernet, right? And we can have the details. Let's say in 3600 series, if you open this in a new tab, this is the capacity of this interface, 176 Gbps. Total number of interfaces 48 RJ45, and we have 4 SFP ports. Do we have any interface with 40 gigs bandwidth? No, we do not have any interface with 40 gig bandwidth. Then in this Nexus 3000 series, when we talk about Nexus 3048, likewise we have Nexus 3100. So in 3132, 3164, 3172, 3172 TQXL. Now I hope you guys remember that how this naming convention works. If you notice at this 31182 PQ, remember guys? List here that whenever you see this name, you can just look at this tip. PQ. P means 1 to 10 Gbps and Q means quad 4, 40 Gbps. It means that if we look at this switch, Nexus 31128 PQ, it can have the interfaces bandwidth 10 Gbps and they can also go up to 40 Gbps. They can go up to 40 Gbps also. Then you can have Nexus 3100V virtualized, Nexus 311G, 3200. In 32 we have 3232, 3264, 3264C and E. So you can notice that we have a lot of platforms, guys, but it totally depends on the requirement. Whenever you have to select a particular switch, you will have the requirement that how or what we need, and on the behalf of that requirement you can choose. So they are focused on speed. They have a lot of interfaces, right? And they have features like artificial intelligence, machine learning features are there, as well as automation is supported. As well as automation is supported. Fixed switch is high performance with very low latency. So we use them in the networks where we need fast data forwarding. Then you have Nexus 5000 series. The 5000 series is focused on Ethernet, but as well as they support a feature known as FCOE, guys, which is very interesting feature, by the way. Fiber channel over Ethernet. Right now it will not make any sense, but fiber channel is a protocol which is used in storage area network. But the problem was we have to set up a separate network for storage area, and then for the LAN we have to have separate network. But now this Nexus 5000 series supports both types of traffic. It can forward fiber channel traffic over Ethernet network. Okay, and they are not used in the center of the topology. They are used as access layer. And Nexus 5000 series is the best choice for storage area network. If you have a planning storage area network, you can go with Nexus 5000 series. You can go with Nexus 5000 series. Likewise, in this 5000 series, if we go here to the official website, in this official website we can see we have 5000 series also. Let's go back. Okay, alright guys, but now we notice one thing here. That's what I was telling you guys. We have Nexus 5000 series, okay, but now Nexus 5000 series is end of life, end of sale, but we still can find the information on this Nexus 5000 series. Most of the Nexus 5000 series switches are end of life and end of sale. You can notice here also end of life and end of sale notices, because now in most of the environment either we are deploying Nexus 9000, 9300 series is also there, but if we click on Nexus 5000 series, you notice the end of sale date was 5 May 2021. End of support date 31st May 2026. Let's say if you have deployed Nexus 5000 series switches in your network, Cisco will give you support till 31st May 2026. Storage area network traffic. Make sense? So first Cisco always announce end of sale. They stopped selling that product, and then they also gave a date of end of support also, that after this date Cisco will not be giving us the tech support. Cisco will not be giving us the tech support. Make sense guys? Any challenge here, any question, please feel free to ask.
So can you please just elaborate the 5000 series is focused on Ethernet plus fiber channel over Ethernet. Does that mean it support fiber as well as the copper interfaces or something else?
Can you please repeat?
The Nexus 5000 series, you mentioned that it is focused on Ethernet plus fiber channel over Ethernet.
Yes.
Does that mean something related to the physical interface, or does it support the fiber connect cable as well as the copper Ethernet?
Okay,
Or
very good question by the way. But you know, this we are not talking about the fiber cable here. This is a protocol also, which we use in storage area network. That protocol is known as fiber channel. Okay, so that's what we are talking here. We have one fiber channel protocol, which is fiber channel protocol, and then we have fiber channel cables. So these are two different things. The physical cable, which is providing connectivity between two endpoints, and in this we have optical fiber cable, short wave, long wave, or there. And second is the fiber channel protocol. This, if you're talking about the protocol, it is used in storage area network. When we have a storage appliance, let's say this is a storage appliance, okay, and we connect it to a special switch known as MDS switch. So here we use the fiber channel protocol for the communication. Like in case of Ethernet media, we are using Ethernet protocol, right? Likewise, we have a fiber channel protocol. So this thing is related to the fiber channel protocol, not related to the fiber channel cable.
okay.
Yeah.
So that protocol will work only over the fiber cable, not on the normal Ethernet cable.
Which one?
That specific protocol work only over the fiber channel. I mean fiber cable.
No, no. Yes, it can, but it can also work on copper.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. The name is the relevant. That's why we always have this confusion that fiber channel cable or fiber channel protocol. Okay. But now the Nexus 5000 series is out of sale and end of sale and end of life. The Nexus 7000 series. On Nexus 7000 series, guys, we have a very interesting feature. We have a very interesting feature, and that feature is known as VDC, Virtual Device Context. So the Nexus 7000 series switches or 7K, they can be used in data center, core and aggregation layer. I'll come to this, okay? So we will be focusing on Nexus 7000 and Nexus 9000 series here because that's what we are gonna use. So the Nexus 7000 series is used in data center core and aggregation layer. They are very powerful switches, okay? And they have redundant power supplies, high port density, very high scalability also because they offer very high speed links, right? So they can have the scalability in terms of traffic. But one more thing which is supported on Nexus 7000 is known as VDC, Virtual Device Context. Guys, have you ever heard of VRF?
Yes.
What does VRF do? In Nexus 7000, we have a feature which is known as virtual device context. There's a difference, guys. If we compare it to a VRF, let's say if we have a router, by default on router, we have just one routing table. And this is known as global routing table. If you create VRF, let's say I have created VRF and this interface is in VRF A, this interface is in VRF B, and we have interfaces in global routing table also. So now this router will start maintaining 3 routing table. We have VRF A and we have also VRF B table. So we have global routing table, VRF A routing table, VRF B routing table. But what do you think, guys? Who is the administrator? Let's say there's an administrator with the username admin. So this particular user has control of the full router. It can delete this VRF. It can also remove this VRF. It can create VRF. So from administrative point of view, we have no segmentation, just one admin. Yes, but from the traffic point of view, we have the segregation. Now VRF A traffic will be isolated from VRF B, or VRF A and B traffic will be separated from global routing table. Agree? But from the administrative point of view, we have just the same administrator who are making the configuration. Okay, makes sense? Hello.
Okay, yeah.
Now what VDC do, guys? VDC gave us the separation from the management perspective also. So if I create two VDC on Nexus 7000 series, Nexus 7000 series, VDC A, VDC B. Now you can have what? You can have your own administration for VDC A, and the administration of VDC B can be different. So like from the configuration point of view also, you can have different users who can make the configuration in VDC A, but they'll not be able to make configuration in VDC B. But when you compare it to VRF, VRF is giving us traffic isolation, but administration isolation is not given. Administration is still one. But in case of VDC, we have administration isolation also. So if you are part of VDC A, you are allowed to make configuration in that part only. And it is similar to context in Cisco firewall. Cisco firewall gave us context. Likewise in Nexus 7000 we have the VDC, virtual device context. Make sense now? What is the VDC? Hello.
Yeah.
So from the admin's point of view, we will have the separation. Then let's come back to Nexus 9000 series. Now Nexus 9000 series, the most, the advanced, latest and deployed in the data center networks. This is the summary, guys. I'm just giving you the summary. Then we'll talk about Nexus 9000 series also. Okay, used in modern data center and support ACI technology, application centric infrastructure. ACI technology is also supported by Nexus 9000. Then we have 9200, 9300 and all. All right. So Nexus 9000. In Nexus 9000, we have two types of switches, guys. We have fixed switches and modular switches. We have fixed switches and modular switches. So this was just the summary of the Nexus switches. Okay, now we'll go back to the Nexus 9000 and we'll discuss about this. Before that, I have very interesting thing to explain here. In the last class, guys, I was giving you an idea of the naming convention, how the names are decided for the Nexus switches. Remember?
Yeah.
Let's discuss that part here today in detail. We have this name. What do you think? What does this mean? 93180. This is about the catalyst, but we have also Nexus switches. 93180. YCFX. So 93. Very interesting, guys. Please pay attention here, okay? First of all, we're talking about Nexus here. We are not talking about the catalyst. So it stands for Cisco catalyst 9. 9 represent what? 9 represent the platform series. It means that if you see 9, it means that this switch belongs to 9000 series. 3 represent what? 3 represent the product family. Let's say 9300 series, 9500 series. It means that part of the 9000 series, but this is 9300 product family. Then you have these two numbers. There's always concern, or there's always, you have to understand few things here. 180. Now after this 93, this number can represent two things. Either this number will present the total number of interfaces on a switch. This thing will represent total number of interfaces on this switch. Let's say you have 9364. So it means (64) interfaces. 9364 means 64 interfaces. Okay, guys. I hope it's visible. After this, the first two digits define the series of Cisco Nexus switches. Yes, let's say 93. The next 2 or 3 digits defines what? Because you can have 9364, then you have just 2 digits, or you can also have 93108, let's say. So what does this represent actually? So this second number after this 93, the port count, if the ports are all at the same speed, it means that if you see 9364, it means that this is a Nexus 9300 series switch and all of the interfaces are of the same speed. Total interfaces are 64. Total interfaces are 64. Okay. If they are the same speed. If they are not the same speed, then it will be giving you a number like this, 108 or something like this. So how is this number calculated? In this particular switch, you have total 48 plus 6, 56 interfaces. Now guys, you will be able to do this with the help of the guide, the design guide, or you can say the product white paper. Okay, in this particular series, what do we have? Why we are getting this 180 here? We have interfaces with 1, 10 and 25 Gbps. How many interfaces? We have 48 interfaces. I know I'm going deeper, but guys, it will worth it. Okay, in future you guys will be able to explain this to someone else. Okay, why we have this naming convention. Yes. Okay, then we have interfaces which has the capability of 40 Gbps or 100 Gbps. How many interfaces? 6. So total interfaces, guys, 54. 48 interface with this bandwidth of 110 or 25, and 6 interface of bandwidth 40 and 100. So in this case, what is the maximum bandwidth we can go up to? Repeat after me. What is the maximum bandwidth we can go? 25, right? So we do it like this: 48 into 25 plus. If you have 6 interface, minimum bandwidth is 40, but maximum it can go up to 100. So that's how we got this number 1800, but we can't write it as 1800. So we'll just remove 10 and we'll place 180 here. You will see this only if the port are not having the same speed. If they are having the same speed, you will see a number like this, guys: 9364, 9300 series, 64 interfaces. If the bandwidth is different, then you will be seeing a number like this. Make sense now? Please feel free to ask, or if you want to repeat me myself, I can repeat. If you want me to repeat myself, I can, but please let me know, guys.
Okay, in this case, how do we really understand we have 48 interfaces which have 1 or 10 or 25 Gbps? So we just written over there 180 after 93.
Yeah, so basically in this case, this 180 will represent the total throughput, like how much it can give. So it can give us 1800 Gbps bandwidth total of all the interfaces. But it'll look very complicated, 9318000. So that's why they removed 10 and they just say 180. Yes.
That is only representing the 6 ports, right?
No, it's representing total number of interfaces, but this time it is not giving the count of the interfaces. This time it is just showing us the total bandwidth of the interfaces.
Okay.
Because this switch has the interfaces of different bandwidth, that's why. Again, let me repeat myself here. The first two numbers always do what? The first two digit define the series of Cisco Nexus switches. The next 2 or 3 digit defines what? The port count, if the ports are all the same speed. So if they have the same bandwidth, then it will be 9364. Okay. So it means 9300 series, and how many interfaces?
64.
64. What if a switch has a lot of interfaces, but they are not having the same bandwidth? Then what? Then the sum of, please read this. If you read it by yourself, it will make more sense. Hello?
Yeah, okay.
The sum of all the ports if they are of different speeds, and then it is expressed in 10 Gbps speed multiples. That's why we have removed 10 and we are just writing 108 or 180. Okay. Now it makes sense.
Okay.
Yes, guys, feel free to ask. But that's how we define the name. So now I'm sure that If someone asks you, you know the meaning. Who is joining now? Jadip. Okay. Now in Nexus 9000 series, we have fixed switches and modular switches. So let's say if we have 9300 series, okay, and we also have 9500 series. So 93 and 95, they both belongs to 9000 series, but they have okay, joined, all right. They have different platforms also. In 93 we have 9332, 9364. In 95 you have 9504, 9508, 9516, which defines the number of line cards. Okay. So first of all, the 9300 series. In case of Nexus or in case of topology, they are most of the time used as leaf switches, but they can also be used as spine switches. So they are known as fixed switches, guys. Okay, and the 9500 series are the modular switches. You can keep adding the modules, and by adding the modules we can have more number of interfaces. The similarity is that they both supports, or you can say supports, both NXOS and ACI mode. Either you can manage a switch in NXOS mode, or if you have deployed ACI, then ACI is also supported. So you can manage them from the controller also. So both of them supports the NXOS mode as well as they supports the ACI mode. They can be managed by the controller. Then we have models here. Okay, here also we have the models. Like in 9300 series, we have 93180, 9372, 9336. Okay, but if you just have, or if you want to remember all the series, you can just go to the official website. Okay, and in this official website we go to the products, networking, data center and cloud networking, and here we look for the switches. 93, here it is, explore Nexus 9300 series. In the 9300 series we can have interfaces 16 to 64 ports, 30 to 64 ports, right? So we can compare the models here, compare all models. '93 with the 10 Gbps interfaces, 9300 series with 1 to 10 to 25 Gbps interfaces, and we have 9300 series with the bandwidth of 40 to 100 Gbps also. So in this also we have different platforms guys, different number of interfaces, So you notice that we can have the switches 9300 series. They support 100 Mbps, 1 Gbps, 10 Gbps for the users, to connect the users. And we can have the uplinks going to other switches with the bandwidth of 40 or 100 Gbps. Then we have Nexus 9300 series switches where they have the downlink with the bandwidth to 10 to 25 Gbps, and the uplink going to other switches, they can go up to 40 to 100 Gbps. Then 9300 series, this one, they have the downlinks, supports up to 40 to 100 Gbps, also the uplinks with this bandwidth here. So let's say compare Nexus 9300 10 Gbps switches, 1 to 10 to 25 Gbps, and then 40 to 100 Gbps switch ports. So these are the platforms we have: 93120, 93108, 9348, 93108, 93108, 93216, 9348, 9348, 9310. So you guys can do one thing. You can go through this documentation also, okay? And you notice nowadays we have power supply guys, 2 power supplies always. So when I've started my journey back in 2017, I've started with Cisco routers guys, 1841, 2600 series, and then 2900 series switches were available, 3500 series, or 3800 series, or 37, sorry. But you know what was the problem? We were always talking that okay, we have redundant interfaces and all, but if you look at these devices, you know what the problem? They have just one power supply. So you have all kind of redundancy. You have redundant interfaces, redundant gateway, you are running spanning tree protocol, but your switch is just having one power source. What if that power source goes down? What if that power source goes down? That's the problem, right? So now what we have done here, we said that in the Nexus switches, you will always find 2 power supplies. Even if one of the power supply goes down, our switch will still be in the running state. So you'll always notice that our Nexus switches are having more than 1 power supplies, okay, for the redundancy purpose. So this is the detailed view of the Nexus 9300 series switches with 10 Gbps interfaces. The number of interfaces 96, 48, 48, 48, 48, 96. Then how many interfaces with the speed of 40 Gbps? 6 only. Do we have any interface with 100 Gbps? No. So on this, we don't have any interface with 100 Gbps. Buffer, power supply, typical power in boards, the software version release. Can we order? Yes. Operating system. NXOS is supported, ACI is supported. NXOS, ACI, NXOS, ACI, NXOS, ACI, NXOS, ACI. So let me share this link in our WhatsApp group, so you guys can also explore it later. Likewise, 9300 series, but the interface bandwidth go up to 1, 10, 25, 40 Gbps, 50 Gbps, 100 Gbps, and fiber cable is also supported. So the number of interfaces, all details are given. Then operating system, NXOS ACI, NXOS ACI, NXOS ACI. Likewise, we have 9300 series switches, and the interfaces, they start with 40 to 100 Gbps. So you can just look at the product family guys. You can just look at the range of the products, right? 9336, 9336C, 32. So you can have 32 interfaces also. This is what I was explaining here, right? 93180, 9372, 9336, 9364, where we have the 64 interfaces. Likewise, you can have a lot more in 90, 300. Make sense, guys? Any challenge here? Please feel free to ask if you have any question, okay?
Okay. Yeah, it's fine.
Is this part clear?
Yeah, it's clear. Sir, I have one doubt.
Yes, please.
Sir, fixed switches with the PoE also will come or without PoE?
Come again.
Fixed switches, PoE option is there? PoE.
PoE switches?
Yes, this PoE switch or without PoE switch?
Yeah, PoE is available.
Okay, sir. Okay.
But in data center networks, most of the time we are having the servers connected to the switches. But in most of the Nexus switches, they don't support the power over Ethernet. It is not required. But in very selective switches, you will see the PoE support. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Generally, they don't support PoE because just a minute. PoE is not required here because Nexus switches. Sorry. Hello.
No, you finish. Finish and then I'll bring up another question.
So
Yes, finish.
as you know that power over Ethernet is a feature which is required for low voltage devices. But as we know that the Nexus switches are deployed in data center networks, and most of the time we are connecting either the servers or even if we are connecting the endpoints directly, they have their own power source. So power over Ethernet is not required, but you can just go through all the platforms, and in few selected platforms we might get the PoE support, but generally it is not support. All right.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yes, so now I was going to ask that is the default ACI mode or is
So the default one is NXOS. The default operating system is NXOS. Yes. Oh no.
okay.
Software.cisco.com. This is the official website again. So if we browse the software.cisco.com and we click on access download. So here you will notice in the switches, data center switches, let's say 9000 series, 93108. So notice we have two operating system available, NXOS system software and NXOS system software ACI. So by default, you will always see this NXOS. That will be the difference. Even you see the name of the file, NXOS 64CS 10.3.6M bin file. Okay. But if you want to deploy ACI, then first of all, you have to download this image, and then you have to make sure that your switches are running in ACI OS mode. So the name is also ACI. The file name is also starting with ACI. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, guys.
Sir, one more doubt, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, I have access to CCW website, Cisco. CCW
CCW.
means a commercial for when I purchase the material, something when I choose the material for Nexus switches. They asking inside what kind of OS you want. They asking me Nexus OS or ACI OS. When I click it on ACI OS, material came for with the ACI OS. Which I need to change Nexus OS. Can I possible to change Nexus OS?
From what?
No. For example, when I purchase the material came for ACI OS. I want to change to Nexus OS. Can I possible to change Nexus OS? Just asking for example manually.
Yeah, fallback is possible. You can go from ACI OS to NXOS mode. Okay, you can always switch between ACI OS and NXOS. The only difference is if you have the Cisco Epic. It means you are deploying the ACI solution. Then you have to go with ACI OS operating system. If you are having independent, then you can just run the NX OS mode.
Okay, done.
All right. Then in 9500 guys, 9500 series has chassis. Very interesting here. We have chassis like 9504, 9508, 9516, and you will not believe me, these switches are very heavy and the number of interfaces is dependent on the series. 9504, so here this 4 means 4 line cards, 8 means 8 line cards, 16 means 16 line cards. So let me show you here and you guys will be surprised if you haven't deployed it yet. If you guys have already deployed, then you are familiar with this, but we have the Nexus 9000 series switches, very powerful switches, 9516, 9508 and 9504. So if you look at this, and they are known as chassis also, chassis switches. In this particular 9504, we have 4 line cards, 1, 2, 3, 4. In 9508, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So by default, let's say you can add 4. If you need more interfaces, you can add more line cards. You can add more line cards. And then we have 9516. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So you can add 16 line cards in total. So we have 16 line cards here, we have 8 line cards here, and then we have 4 line cards here, and they are known as the chassis switches. Then how much space it will take in the rack? So Nexus 9504 will take 7 rack units. Nine five zero eight will take 13 rack units. How much space it will take in the rack? And then 9516 will take 21 rack units. The total throughput 15 Tbps, 30 Tbps, 60 Tbps. Number of interfaces. If you talk about 1 to 10 Gbps, the interfaces they support the bandwidth 1 to 10 Gbps, 192, 384, 768, 768 interfaces. But you can also increase the number of interfaces using which cable, guys? Have you ever seen this breakout cable?
No.
So basically this breakout cable do what? Let's say this is a switch. This is my Nexus 9508. On these line cards, I have 40 Gbps interface. So I can connect one side on this 40 Gbps interface, the breakout cable, and on the other side, this breakout cable give me how many interfaces? 4 interfaces, each of 10 Gbps. So now I can connect this to low bandwidth switches. So on my 9508, let's say I have one interface with 40 Gbps. So one side of the breakout cable will be connected on this side, and it will give us 4 cables which will be connected to different switches with each of 10 Gbps. It looks like this, the breakout cable system. This is how it looks. So you notice on one side you have one connector, but on the other side you have 4 connectors. Make sense now? So you can imagine, guys, you can imagine the amount of bandwidth, the amount of traffic they can handle. And you know what? You can just dismantle this whole chassis and you can also build it by yourself. You can just remove the line cards, you can remove the fan trays, you can remove the power supply. If you notice in the bottom, the image is blurred, but you see here, what is this? The power switches or the power sockets. Right now 4 power sockets are installed, but I can add more power sockets. Okay, so that's why we call them chassis, and we can build them from scratch. We can build them from scratch.
A question.
Sorry?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, please tell me. Is there any question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I wanted to see that.
That's how it will look. Okay.
Okay.
And after building this, these are the components we always have. Let me explain it one by one. But inside this rack, or inside this, not rack, inside this chassis, we have all these components.
Yes.
Is it visible to everyone? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. See guys, first of all, redundant power supply units. In our first image, we saw that we have 4 power supplies installed in this particular, but here you can notice that we have added more power supply units, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So you can imagine the redundancy, right? Then we have supervisor engine. Just a minute, I'll explain what is the role of the supervisor engine here. We have 2 supervisor engine. Then we have 16 line cards, because this is 9516. We have 16 line cards. This is the front view. The rear view. In the rear view, you can see the fan trays. You can just imagine the number of fans here, but also we always keep them in a cool environment. Inside the data center, we have, it's kind of a refrigerator room. For the cooling, we have the fans. And then in the rear view, you can see that you have 2 system controllers also. You have 2 system controller also. So in each switch, we have the CPU, right? But now such big chassis, we can't give all the, we can say, operations. We can't ask CPU to handle all the operations. That's why in this chassis, you notice that we have the supervisor engine and we also have the system controller. So they are taking care of a lot of things. The system controller is taking care of the chassis here. Supervisor engine. Okay. Brain of the modular Nexus switch. It handle control plane functions. It manages the configuration, routing configuration, policies configuration and all. And we always have you can say redundant supervisor engine. One of the supervisor engine will act as active and the second will act as the standby. And it will also give the instructions to the line cards for traffic forwarding, because it manages the control plane. But once the user sends the traffic, users will send traffic to the line cards. So how they will take the decisions? So this supervisor engine will be communicating with the line cards and giving the information to them so that they can handle the data forwarding. Then you have system controller. Data plane is managed by the line cards. Control plane is managed by the supervisor engine. What is the role of the system controller here? It handles the management activities. In-band and out-of-band management is controlled by system control. Either you are configuring out-of-band management, in-band management, it will take care of this. Okay. Responsible for power supply, fan health, if fan is working or not. If fan is not working, then the system controller will give us a notification that the fan has some problem. Okay. And other sensors like temperature related sensors also. A lot of things, guys. Okay, temperature sensors. By the way, the Nexus switches are placed in a very cooler environment where we have air conditioners and as well as they have their own fan just to pass the air. But still, if the temperature is increasing, the system controller will give a notification because it is managing the temperature information also, like what's the temperature of the device at this moment. Yes, guys, that's how we build a chassis. If you have 9504, then you will be adding 4 line cards. In case of 9508, we will be adding 8 line cards, and in 9516 we will be adding 16 line cards. We will be adding 16 line cards. Make sense?
Okay.
Then the console port is part of the supervisor engine. Okay, on this we have management interface also, RAM, SSD, everything is installed on this supervisor module. Okay. These are the components of a supervisor module. SSD, RAM, console port, USB port. Let's say I want to upgrade the operating system. So I can just copy it to the USB file. USB file can be plugged into the supervisor module. The management port, Intel processor, redundant path to system controllers, because they have to communicate with each other. They are a chassis, they are working together, but there's different components. Likewise, you have the fan trays and all. That's a chassis, guys. 9000 series. 9000 series. Here, if we go to the official website again, $9,500. These are the building blocks. 9504. It can has up to 4 line cards, 4 power supplies, 6 fabric modules, up to 2 system controllers, 2 supervisor engines, fan trays, 8 line cards, 16 line cards. Then the specifications. The weight 38 kg, 68 kg, 87 kg. So this is the product guide or white paper for this Nexus 9500 series switches. I also shared it in the WhatsApp group. The details are given. The temperature requirement, the processor, RAM, SSD, fan trays, power supply unit, because the power supply can also be replaced. Power supply Nexus 9500. So you will see this. If there's a problem, you can replace it. So we can add or remove these extra power supplies like the fan trays, the supervisor module, system controller, everything, right? That's why we call it a chassis and we are building it. We can also dismantle the whole chassis. Yes, guys, please feel free to ask till now if there is any challenge. I think we are good. We are on the same page. Okay. And we can't even find Nexus 7000 series also because that is also discontinued. And like I said, you will be facing Nexus 9000 series nowadays. If you have a new deployment, you will see the Nexus 9000 series because 9000 is just kind of a replacement for the Nexus 7000 series. So if we see Nexus 7000 series switches, they had all these features: end of life, end of sale. Where is the date, guys? End of life, end of sale, like last ship date. So we have Nexus 9000 series, which is the latest one. So in 9000 series, we have these modular switches. Nexus 9300 series is also there, right? We were exploring this earlier. So in 93 we have the fixed module. Fixed module means the fixed interfaces. Then we have 9400, 9500 and as well as 9800 series of switches. Very powerful switches, high bandwidth, advanced features like automation, programmability, everything is supported. And then we have ACI support also, application centric infrastructure, in which we can manage our Nexus switches from a controller known as APIC, application policy infrastructure controller. But at this point we are not talking about ACI. We'll discuss ACI in detail because ACI is part of this training, but right now our focus is on the Nexus 9000 series in NXOS mode. We will be exploring the NXOS mode. So from the next class onwards, we'll start making the configuration. Okay, we have made the configuration in the last class also, but from the next class, we will be exploring the configuration of like how to configure VLANs, STP, port channel, and then VPC, virtual port channel will also be there. VPC configuration, routing protocol configuration, then VXLAN configuration, how the multicast works in Nexus switches, why do we need IP multicasting. So there's a lot of stuff, guys. Okay, but I will just, or I'll just suggest you guys to just revise the videos. Okay, I've shared the video with the Kavya. I think she'll be sharing with you guys tonight. So you'll get the access of the videos and revise it, make notes. By the way, I'll also share the notes in the WhatsApp group, but still you can have your own handwritten notes. Okay, it will give you more clarity. And just don't be limited to the class only, guys. You have internet, you have ChatGPT, you have books. Okay, you guys can also explore, and if you find something different, or if you don't understand something, you can just discuss it in the class. Okay, we'll sort it out. But I hope till now you guys are enjoying the session and it's informative, right?
Okay, sir. The 9K series is the only series support the line card, or is there any other series support the line card?
Now Nexus offer the chassis in 9500 series. Okay, 93 is a fixed switches. So in 9300 we have fixed switches. They have fixed number of interfaces.
Okay. So the 7000 or 5000 series does not support the line cards.
No.
Okay.
There is only one soup or multiple soup in 95, 90.
In with 95,
No, 90.
90 what? 93, 95 what?
Whatever chassis Nexus switch is there.
The chassis we have in 95. So 9508,
Okay.
9504, 9506.
Okay.
Yes. So they have the supervisor engine, right?
So they are having only one soup or redundant?
Redundant soups.
Okay. And is there any placement? Is there like we soup should go into this slot?
Yeah, of course. This is the fixed space here. Okay.
Hmm.
Likewise, in this 9504,
Hmm.
here it is. Okay. In 9508 also. So the supervisor engine is in the front side and you will see the system controller in the rear view. But we have redundant system controllers and we have redundant soup.
Okay, so both soup is going in only one slot.
So there are two slots. There's a gap between. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
install is in Nexus. We have a clear image. Yeah, but they are two slots. Okay, so it's not just one supervisor, there's two supervisor modules and they have their own slots also.